I'm so excited to be here with you today. We're going to be talking about online shopping in order to teach you how to shop smart and safe when you're online. So first, we're going to go over a little bit of an agenda. We're going to start with the best practices for online shopping. So just some tips for you to be thinking about. Then how to check if a site is trustworthy and whether you should be giving it your personal information. Then how to check product reviews to see how other people have enjoyed their products. Also, how to price check items. Then we will talk about how to return items that you purchased online. And finally, we're going to end off with a live demonstration just to give you a sense of online shopping in general. So starting off, we want to emphasize the fact that we recommend you use familiar sites when you're doing online shopping. So you want to shop from trusted in real life retailers online. You want to stick to the big name companies. And if you are using a marketplace, go with the big names such as Etsy and eBay. So examples of big brand names include Walmart, Best Buy, Amazon, and any other stores you've been to in person that you would trust their products if you were to buy them in real life, and purchasing them online would be similar to those that you would buy in person. Next, you want to make sure that you watch out for marketplace sellers on big box sites. So if you're thinking of a site like Best Buy or Walmart, sometimes they offer platform up to marketplace sellers. So you want to make sure that you are actually buying a product from the store itself rather than a different company. So you're going to want to look below the image of the product. There'll be some information about it, and one of them may be that it's a marketplace seller. So just be very careful about who you're actually purchasing it from. Even if you're buying it from Best Buy, for example, it may not actually be coming from them. You also do want to be checking the site security, and an easy way to do this is look to the top left-hand corner of your web browser, and you'll see a lock icon, and you want to make sure that it is secure, which is represented by a closed lock. And then you can see some further information about the site. You can see when it was founded, where its headquarters is located. You can check if your connection is secure, meaning that nothing is going to be intercepting whatever you're doing on the internet. Also, its permissions and making sure that it's preventing any tracking from happening. Another important thing to remember is that you want to research the seller. So before you purchase anything, you want to make sure that it's reliable and other people have said, this is a valid place to be buying things from. Sometimes things can seem very real if you're looking at the website, but just make sure maybe if you speak to a friend about it, if they've bought something from there in the past, or just do a quick Google search just to check that it's a real store and it doesn't have any fraudulent behavior associated with it. For example, the Better Business Bureau has a great tool that you can check their opinion and rating of sellers. So it's kind of this big website and database that you can access. And this does include many online sellers as well, which is great for online shopping. Though it's important to remember that being registered with the Better Business Bureau is positive, it's not always reliable because smaller sellers will be registered. So it's not kind of the be-all end-all of checking if it's a valid place to be purchasing products from, but it's a great place to start for sure. So you can go to bbb.org and search up any store that you may be buying from. You can also, as I mentioned, Google the seller and then check any online forums to find other shoppers' experiences. Typically, people are going to be telling the truth about what they've experienced. So it's good to kind of see what others have had in the past and compare it to what your standards are. So if you see reviews that are saying things like, oh, they charged me too much for the return, or, it was broken when I got it and they wouldn't give me a refund, or anything that may be negative, you might want to stay away from those retailers. And this can also be very helpful if you're trying to buy something from a seller that's not based in the US or Canada, so it's more foreign and you may not have heard of it before, and there may be less information about it. Next, something that I will also be going over in the live demonstration is consulting product reviews. So by looking at what other people's opinions are, you can get a really good sense of the quality of the product, which I believe is very important, because if you're buying something online, you can't actually feel it as you would in an in-person store. So you don't know what the material is like. Maybe it rips easily, or, it's really low quality fabric. So hearing those things from other people can be really helpful, and it can prevent you from purchasing something that you're just going to end up returning. So it's a lot more convenient to kind of not have to go through the process of finding out that it's a bad product on your own, and relying on other people. It's a great idea. And it's great because most selling websites do have review sections, and they are located directly under the product that they are selling. And reviews on any selling site will generally give you feedback about the product and the seller. But something to be cautious about is that sometimes sites will sort the reviews so that they'll only show you the very positive ones. So make sure that you kind of look through many of the reviews, get multiple perspectives. Just because of the way that the site is structured, you may just be shown the 5-star review that that one person said, but everybody else may be saying, this is a really bad product, etc. So just make sure you do kind of a deep dive into the product reviews. You can also use Google to view reviews across the internet. So if you want to go further into what other people believe about the product, you can just look on the internet in general, because that won't be as kind of controlled by the seller. So it's easier to find maybe more truthful comments. And this will tell you even more about the product, and unencumbered by the complaints buyers might have about sellers. There's also a site called Wirecutter and many other similar sites that you can go to check for the best of the best reviews. So it's going to be very valid information, it's going to be reliable, and it's going to tell you exactly what people are, kind of more a professional level review of it. It's going to be the best review that you can get. Now, there's also the option of price checking items that you're purchasing for. So you can use the Google shopping site, for example, and you can just compare prices to make sure that you're not purchasing anything way above the normal price range that you would have. So some retailers try to sell you things for maybe $50 extra when really you could get it somewhere else for much cheaper. In order to price check, you want to search for the item that you want to buy, and you do this on shopping.google.com. One of our volunteers can also send that in the chat for you if you want it right now, but you can just search it up in your web browser as well. And then you'll be able to see the same item in many different stores across the internet. So it's kind of like a self-price comparison tool, just to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible. Additionally, other major search engines such as Bing and Yahoo also have price checking tools in addition to Google. So you can go to sites such as Yahoo Shopping and then search for the product as well. Next, we're going to go over checking return policies and how to return products that you purchase online. So all shops on the internet should have a return policy in depth, and it should be available for you to view. Just as a buyer, you should have access to this. And sellers that are online and in real life might allow in-person returns too, which is great because you won't have to ship anything back. You can just quickly drive over to the store and figure it out in person. So that's a great benefit of shopping from places that exist both online and in real life. For example, you can see here, this is a screenshot from Amazon and it says, for the 2022 holiday season, returnable items purchased between October 11th and December 25th, 2022 can be returned until January 31st, 2023. So this is some very important information that you want to be aware of, just in case you bought a gift for somebody, or if you're not sure whether or not you're going to like what you purchased. And you can also read the full return policy as well. So if you're interested in knowing more detail, then I would definitely recommend taking a look at that. And be sure to read the return policy carefully for details such as free shipping on returns, how long you can actually keep the item before returning it in order to be able to actually return it to the company, and what grounds you can return an item on. So just be very careful about what regulations they have in place in their policies. So now we're going to go through some additional safety tips. Something that you should be aware of is that you should use a credit card, not a debit card, just in case the account gets compromised or your card information is stolen. If you're using a credit card, it will be much less damage in the long run because it is something that you haven't yet paid to your bank. It's just on your credit card bill. But if it's on your debit card, that's actually your own money in your personal account. So it would be much worse to lose that. And you don't want to give people access to your full bank account by using debit. So that's just something to think about. Also, you always want to create strong passwords on accounts that you have. And we want to provide you with two basic rules. Firstly, make it a long password. So this is an 8-character minimum password, and 10 or more is best. And if you write a sentence, it helps you to make it longer. So that's something that you may want to try out. And also you want to make it a complex password. So you want to alternate or use a variety of lower and uppercase letters. You can use numbers and special characters and use them throughout, not just at the beginning or end, because it's much harder to guess if you have maybe a money or dollar sign in the middle of your sentence. It would be very difficult for someone to guess that. Also, you don't want to be shopping in public because people can get your card information from over your shoulder. And also, if you're on a public Wi-Fi network, then you will be vulnerable to people who are using or kind of spying on that network. They may be able to steal whatever information that you're putting into the website. So you want to make sure that you're using your cellular data if you're not at home and you're doing online shopping. Another important tip is to think about the information that you are sharing. So if a website is asking you too much information that you think is unnecessary, then you want to think twice and maybe refrain, of course, from typing that in. And a purchase shouldn't require you to give any information such as your birth date or your SSN or really anything other than your name, email, and address if they're shipping you something, and as well your credit card information. Also, just a great practice is checking your statements regularly. In the case that any of your information has been compromised, you want to make sure that you notice it quickly rather than later on to minimize the damage. Because if they have your information and they make multiple purchases, that's going to be a lot more damage than if they just made 1 or 2 transactions.